ever thought that a girl like me would be going to New York Fashion Week. Tomorrow I have my first ever Netflix red carpet that I'm gonna be at. I deserve to be there, so I'm going to fake it till I make it. Why the hell not? Why can it not be you? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mahua. I'm really excited to do this video. I wanted to do it a sit down style, but then I realized that I like the New York City vlog style a lot better while I talk to you guys. I know I get a lot of questions about how I live here by myself, how I afford to, how I'm an artist when artistry and creative paths aren't really pushed on brown people like me, on people of color in general. And I just love getting questions like this because I love sharing my resources and I love helping you guys understand how it is possible for you too. And I just really want to share some of the secrets that I have and how I got to where I am. So I really want to talk about the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset. And if you guys don't know what that is, a scarcity mindset, let me actually search it up so I got the receipt. So a scarcity mindset is when you believe resources are limited, you feel like you are stressed and jealous all the time, you're always competitive. Whereas an abundance mindset, that is basically just the opposite of that, is where you believe that there are enough opportunities and resources for everyone, and you believe that the universe is going to get you what you want no matter what. So I want to show you, as a person of color, how I went from someone that always was competitive, believing that there wasn't something out there for me and I would never be successful, to where I am now, where I have more of an abundance mindset. The first thing I want to talk about before I go off to my workout class of the day, the first thing I did to get from the scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset is to really confront all of the negative stereotypes and the lack of representation that I had in my community, in my culture, and really think about how that affects my mindset. So for example, a lot of people of color are kind of portrayed as negative stereotypes in media. A lot of people see brown people, for example, and what I saw, as just taxi drivers, right? In movies, when you see brown people, you either see taxi driver or you see terrorists, and it was never seen as a positive thing. And even growing up, kids would call me things like that. There were a lot of microaggression, and it really sticks with you. In your head, it really seems like you can't succeed. The only jobs out there for you are those negative stereotypes. Since my dad was a taxi driver and there was struggle with money growing up, I always assumed that I'd always have to grow up like that and there wasn't anything for me beyond that, right? There are stereotypes for other people, like for white people, right? What I thought growing up, white people always had this luxurious life because this is what I saw in media. They had facials, they went to Pilates class. When you associate certain things, luxurious things, with just a certain demographic, you start to believe that you don't deserve that because you've only heard or seen in media of white people doing those things. So I had to really reprogram my brain into thinking, why don't I deserve those things? Why is it that I only think that some people deserve nice things and some people don't? And obviously, if you grow up in a low-income neighborhood, if you grow up with people around you that also have that mindset, it's hard to get out of it. So the first thing that I had to do was understand that I also deserve those things, and there are opportunities and jobs and things beyond those negative stereotypes. So obviously, it was really helpful when, you know, in the past 2 years there have been positive forms of representation where it makes me feel like I'm capable of doing things and that people of color are capable of succeeding. That has helped a lot. But I had to start realizing that I deserve success and I deserve good things, and so I had to kind of get myself into that mindset. You have to really fake your mind into believing that. So I literally went to Trader Joe's and had my first Pilates class the other day. I felt so out of place. I felt like I did not belong there, but I forced myself to go there and I really enjoyed it actually. And I was like, wow, this is such a white people thing. But now I'm trying to reprogram my brain into thinking, no, this is a me thing. I deserve this. Make yourself believe that you are allowed to do these things. These things are not just dedicated to certain people. You will really win at life when you start to believe that there are opportunities and there are things out there for also you. It's not just for other people. You know, I picked an untraditional path. I'm an artist, I'm a content creator, I have a podcast, and these things are not really common in brown people because these things are usually dominated by white people. Usually in my culture, it's common for you to go into the engineering route or the medical route, or, you know, the other negative stereotype, even though it shouldn't be negative, is that you're a taxi driver or you work at a gas station. So there's two different spectrums, but there isn't too much leeway in the traditional route in my culture. So when I went into these different paths, that was a big thing for me. That was me trying to push myself out of my realm, and that was me trying to believe that these jobs aren't just dedicated to certain demographics, right? So I deserve this too. That was a hard wake-up call, but you really have to push yourself beyond this imposter syndrome. So today I'm going to my second ever cycling class in Brooklyn. I'm really excited because, again, cycling, Pilates, Pilates. These are all things that are just dedicated to white people in my head and in a lot of people's heads, and I'm just excited to break that norm, right? I'm also going thrifting. Tomorrow I have my first ever Netflix red carpet that I'm gonna be at, and that's just like something that I never even dreamed of. Second, I have my first ever New York Fashion Week backstage event. We just have a lot of big things coming this week. These are just things that I've never really dreamed of. My mantra is, and what yours should be also, is why the hell not? We never saw New York City content growing up from POCs. We never believed that we could afford things like this because we never saw it on YouTube growing up or in media growing up. But now you have to really say to yourself, why the hell not? Why can it not be you? And that's really the mindset that I'm on right now. Scale of me just like winning by going through classes that don't really have that much melanin or are predominantly known for white people. But that class first of all was so great. One of my goals this year was to just do a lot of workout classes, and I was always so scared to do it because again, people like me don't really go to these type of classes, especially like cycling, soul cycle, Pilates. This is your sign to do something that you've been wanting to do, because on a bigger scale, pursue that job even if there aren't that many people in that field that look like you, because it can be the best decision of your life and you will love it. Y'all, it is the next day. I am currently doing my makeup because I got invited to one of my first ever red carpet premieres, which is crazy to even say. Like, younger me is just, I don't even know how to explain that because I would have never dreamed of that. First of all, expand your dreams because it's possible. Second of all, I'm bringing my mom to this red carpet premiere, which is also something else that she has probably never dreamed of as well. So it's just crazy that I'm able to share these experiences with, you know, immigrant parents and my immigrant parent. It's just so crazy because not even 2 years ago, I was living with my parents still, and I barely had my own room, and it's just so wild that I'm here right now. The second thing that I really had to do to believe that I can accomplish the things that I'm accomplishing and getting to where I want to get to is that I had to confront my childhood trauma and a lot of the mindsets that I grew up with, where I believed and my family believed that money was scarce. You know, again, my dad was a taxi driver, and even though we lived in the suburbs and it was a good school environment, we didn't make that much money compared to everyone else. And because of that, I saw how much of an effect this took on my family, and how even though my parents did everything that they could and they gave us the best education, there were some times where we had to skimp around with money and, you know, not do certain things because it would be too costly. And we were always told to be frugal and save. I grew up with that mindset even now, where I sometimes don't even buy food from outside because I'm trying to save money. And those things really manifest into your life, and you really have to think about when you grow up and you start having your own life, how these things negatively affect you. Since I grew up with this fear that we'd always become poor and that, you know, we would continuously lose money even if we bought food from outside instead of eating at home, I always thought that money was scarce and that you had to be competitive and work really hard to get your money. So I had to really reprogram my brain into thinking that that's not true. If I spend money on food outside, that's not gonna make me poor. That's not gonna make me lose that much money. And that meant that I had to do a lot of positive self-talk, because we don't realize how self-deprecating we are sometimes when we talk about ourselves. Like, for example, a lot of us just talk to ourselves in our head and we're kind of like, oh, we're so stupid, we're so dumb for doing that. Obviously there are inner thoughts, but things like that really manifest into your life, because self-talk is a very powerful thing. Something that's very small that happened to me recently that really has changed my thinking is I said something like, oh my god, that's so crazy, because that's a part of my normal vocabulary. And I said that because one of my friends had a big apartment complex in Brooklyn, and I was like, oh my god, that's so crazy, because, you know, that's expensive. And then she was like, no, don't say it's crazy, because that means it's not attainable for you. And I was like, wow, that is such a powerful thought, because imagine something that is so innate, so natural to you, and you saying that out loud makes it not attainable. The self-talk that we do to ourselves is just such a powerful thing. So you really have to reprogram your brain into thinking that you can achieve things like that through positive self-talk, through hard work. And that's why I have so many post-it notes throughout my apartment, because they're just affirmations and daily reminders that I can do the things that I want to do. And yes, reprogramming your brain and doing this positive self-talk is hard initially, but once you start getting that into practice, it gets so much easier. Maybe even write it down, because that just makes it easier when it's down on paper. And try to write down all the negative thoughts that you have about money, about yourself, and just write the opposite, because that's what I do sometimes. And just think about why you think that you don't deserve that and what you can do to achieve that. Girl, I'm gonna have so much imposter syndrome when I'm on that red carpet, but I know I deserve this place in my life, and I know that I deserve to be there. So I'm going to fake it till I make it, and I'm going to try and be confident. All right, this is the final look. A lot of these people that you see in media, they are faking it till they make it. They are anxious just because you are at a red carpet. You don't have to wear like designer brands. This is literally thrifted. It was less than $20. I got this from Jackson Heights, supporting South Asian small businesses yesterday. The key to success is just faking your confidence. And I have a good amount of confidence already, but this just helps it, you know? And these heels are literally from high school that I've only wore like twice. So this is just a sustainable outfit. I feel confident, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling ready. Now we just have to wait for my mom so I can help her get ready. You wanna get on that? Mommy's your first red carpet premiere. How do you feel? Mommy, how did you feel with your first red carpet premiere Netflix show?
It was so amazing and good experience.
Mom was saying the other day how she hasn't had experiences like this, like going to Paris with me, going to red carpets with me, going to a custom perfume factory in New York City, and now she's getting all these benefits with me.
Yeah, because I'm your mom.
Fashion week #1 outfit, #1 of only one, because I only got invited to one event. Who would have ever thought that a girl like me would be going to New York Fashion Week? So another thing that I want to talk about today, since I am ready and about to head out the door, is how competition is a very big thing. Again, environment plays a very huge part in how you think, especially if you have a negative environment. It's going to play a huge part in your mindset and how you are. So with that being said, if you have friends that are constantly competitive with you, they are toxic, they're always jealous of you, they're not actually wishing well on you, and since they have this scarcity mindset and they think that resources are kind of on the low, they don't want to share their secrets or resources with you. And that's not a good friend. If you meet someone and you think you're close with them, but they don't want to tell you how they accomplished something, they don't want to help you with a promotion, whatever it is, they do not have the best interest for you. And it's really important to surround yourself with friends that don't have that mindset. It is not true that if you share your resources, if you help other people, it's not going to make you lesser than. It's not going to make you feel less accomplished. It's okay to share your resources and help other people. The concept of gatekeeping I do not understand, because what I've seen is that when you gatekeep and you are a bitter person, you are a jealous person, you don't want to see other people win, that energy kind of comes back to you and you actually end up losing in the long run. You don't have long-lasting friends at the end of the day. But right now I'm going to New York Fashion Week with one of my close friends, and she is an artist themselves, and it is just so refreshing to find someone that is supportive of you. Another one of my friends actually walked for New York Fashion Week, and it's just very crazy how your mindset is so much more positive when you are surrounded by people that are actually willing to help you. Don't hang around people that literally suck the life and energy out of you. Hang around people that make you feel infinite and make you feel like you can accomplish anything. Why did you think about me when drinking your orange juice?
Because you remind me of orange juice.
You know something super underrated that really helps you win in life and go from the scarcity mindset to abundance mindset? It's just pure gratitude for the little things. Yesterday I went to my first ever New York fashion show backstage event with Smashbox, which is huge, and I was just so grateful for the free snacks and food that they had there. I'm obviously grateful for me being invited to something like that, but it's just also me being grateful for something small like food. Whenever anyone comes to my apartment, they love it obviously, but they always complain about how hot it is in here. But the thing is, I really reframed my mindset because yeah, I can also complain constantly about how hot it is. But first, open some windows, turn on the fan. And second, growing up, we had heating in my house, but we didn't turn it on as much because it would make the bill go higher. This is a children of an immigrant struggle. And so now that it's so hot in here in my apartment and I don't have to pay for heating because it's included in my rent, I'm just grateful that I have that. I'm grateful that I have 3-ply toilet paper now. It's just the little things. You will be so much more happier and successful when you start enjoying and appreciating the little things in life and just making that bad energy into good energy whenever you can. I am having such a monotonous day. I'm doing so much work. I just recorded the podcast and I'm just staying at home, but still I'm so grateful that I have this after such a busy week. Obviously you can have a better life. I can have a bigger apartment. I can be doing my work on a beach somewhere. And those are great thoughts to have, but it's also very important. Think about what you have in the present. Think about how happy it makes you instead of always wishing for more and more. Because the more you wish for more and more without appreciating what you have now, the more you're just not happy with your present life, and you're also not going to be happy with your future life because you're going to be wanting more after that.
It's currently February in New York and it is over 60 degrees. I'm not complaining. That was such a good class. It was like a strength training class. It was my first ever one. So close to canceling it this morning because it was pretty early and I wanted to sleep in. But first of all, ClassPass has this thing where if you cancel last minute, you have to pay a big fee. So I did it. And one of my goals this year was to have at least one new workout class every single month. And I've like surpassed that goal. I'm at like 8 or 9 this month already and I'm so proud of myself. But I think my last piece of advice is, especially for women and women of color, I think oftentimes we have imposter syndrome. We feel like we can't ask for something because we don't want to be overbearing, and that's what men are for. So sometimes even when we feel like we deserve something like a raise, we don't ask for it because it might seem like too much. We do 0.5 instead. And there's a statistic, I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's essentially women that are about 80 or 70% qualified for a job won't apply for the job because they feel like they don't have enough skills, whereas men who are less than 50% qualified are going to apply for that job still, regardless of the fact that they have less skills than women. And that's just how it is. Take that leap and try something new because you never know how much you're qualified and you won't know if you can win unless you try. So don't be scared of failure because failure is part of it.